Hello folks, hope you're all doing well. This isn't going to be a super long video, and it's not going to be a super ranty video either. It's more of a discussion I want to have with you in the comment section, if I can, about the quality of Games Workshop's content. I'm not really expecting this video to be more than 10-15 minutes long, but it's still something that I wanted to talk about, and I thought, you know what better time to do it than just after the World Championships that was live streamed just this weekend. It came on from, I think it was Atlanta, over in the States. I hold Games Workshop to a very high standard when it comes to online content. That's something that's going on right now, right? Like, everybody, the world exists online, and if you have a game or something that nerds are into, you need to be savvy in being online. You need to make sure that all of your services are up to date and that they're running well and that you're best in class. I'm going to use that phrase a few times in this video, best in class. If you are the biggest company in your sphere, then your live streams need to be just that. Let's look at Critical Role, for instance, right? No matter what you think of Critical Role and the stories that they tell or the games that they do, right? They're just friends having fun, and the quality of their content is best in class. If you look at the quality of their streams, their sets, their personnel, everything about it is best in class in terms of live streaming role-playing games. There are a lot of role-playing games out there that I would consider to be better than Critical Role. I was in one, in Cyberpunk 2087. I stand by that, think it's an amazing series. But our actual quality of streams was nowhere near Critical Role. We don't have the same resources, we don't have the same contacts. We're in different areas of the world entirely, you know? So our quality isn't as high as theirs. They are best in class. They are the market leaders. In terms of Warhammer, the market leaders, or tabletop, wargaming, the market leaders are Games Workshop, and they always will be, as far as I'm concerned. Either fortunately or unfortunately, that's just where we are. So I expected a lot out of their live streams. Whenever they live stream a big event, whenever they live stream a tournament or something like that, I expect big things. I said this a few years ago. I said, Games Workshop should really embrace and codify the tournament scene. If that's where you're going to go, if that's where you want your games to go, then you need to embrace it wholeheartedly and make it an esport. Make it a huge event. Make it something that resembles something that you'll see on ESPN or Sky Sports if you're in the UK. Something like that. Unfortunately, this weekend, I didn't see that from Games Workshop, and that is a huge frustration with me, because I want to see this hobby grow. I want to see it get better. I want to see things take shape and take form. I actually quite enjoy watching tournaments in the background whilst I'm doing other things. I can't sit there and watch it all day because it's like watching paint dry. And that's a situation I'm going to get into a bit later on as well. It's actually like watching paint dry. But, if you're going down this route and you want to make Warhammer a famous sport that is, or esport that is on, and nerds can watch and get a lot out of, it needs to be better than this. I will say the announcements that they made at the World Championships, that live stream was amateur hour. It was amateur hour. The audio was all over the place. The hosts looked really nervous and didn't really look like they knew what they were doing. It reminded me of, do you remember when E3 back in the day was just coming into its own? Like, it wasn't really a thing. Or like the Game Awards. It was almost like they were faking it. Like, it wasn't. Everyone was so nervous about being there. It wasn't seen as part of the establishment. They didn't take it too seriously, and it came across as really lame, right? Well, the same thing goes for this. It came across as amateur hour. It came across as they were kind of embarrassed to be showing stuff off, and let's get away from the lackluster nature of the reveals themselves, which were pretty lackluster. The actual stream itself, the audio was all over the place. It was echoey, you could hardly hear them at times, they made jokes that just didn't land, you couldn't see anybody in the auditorium. The whole point of having a live audience is when you show a model off, you can hear them cheering, going, "Whoa, yeah, awesome," right? You couldn't hear any of that. The guys on the stream told you, the host told you there was 1,000 people or whatever in that hall, whatever it was, 100 or 1,000, I can't remember, right? Around about, I know there's a difference between 100 and 1,000, but in a small venue, not really. 100 people can create a lot of noise. Anyway, whatever the number was, You would not have known. They could be sitting in an empty studio. There was no microphones turned on the audience whatsoever. No cameras turned on the audience. Nothing. It was literally two guys staring blankly into a camera, showing off some models that came up on the screen every now and then. Wasn't impressed. I've seen much smaller companies than Games Workshop do this 10 times better. By the way, a couple of my favourite guys on the internet, Black Lodge Games, really enjoy their content. Now, if they did a show in a venue about role-playing games, I will bet my mortgage that it will be better than what Games Workshop came up with. This is two guys running an independent business in Texas, right? They would do a better job. They would hire a decent venue. They'd get a good sound guy. They'd get some cameras. They'd answer questions from the audience. They'd make sure you felt like a part of the show. And these guys don't do that for, they're not like live streamers for a living. They're game designers. But they would do a better job. Why? Because they would take it seriously. They would respect what they're doing. They'd want to put out the best product possible. They wouldn't phone it in, which is what I respect about them so much. And a lot of other independent content creators in the role-playing or tabletop space, they respect their audience so much, and they go out of their way to give them quality content. This live stream for the reveals was not that. It was poor. Before we even get into the models they revealed, it was a poor showing from Games Workshop, just from a technical standpoint, all right? So, we had the World Championships, and again, here's another point that I want to make. I'm going to actually show you some of the footage, right? So we should have it on screen now. Yeah, we do. Adam and Eddie are here, and they're doing some things. Let's look at a game when the game is on. Preview 2025. Okay, these are the... Yeah, there we go. Right, so we get this one... Brilliant. We get this one showing of the people there, right? And that could be from anywhere. That could be pre-recorded from anywhere. There was no sound on that clip. They just show you the people and then go, hey, they're there, honest, they're there. And I do totally believe that they were there, don't get me wrong, but, like, come on. You showed your audience once. No. Just no, right? Okay, let's get on with it, though. I want to go and show you the actual gameplay of what was going on at the Warhammer Grand Finals and the finals and things like that. Because, some of it was cool, some of it wasn't. Let's have a look, see? Here we go. Right. Now, here is my issue. When you compare Battle Report channels to what Games Workshop officially do, it is night and day. I want you to go watch Tabletop. I think it's Time on Tabletop or Tabletop Time. What are they called? I'm going to go search for this. Please don't get insulted, guys. They do 40k in 40 minutes. Who are they called? 40k in 40 minutes? They're not called 40k in 40 minutes. 40k in 40 minutes. They're called Play on Tabletop. Right, sorry guys. I got your name right now. They're called Play on Tabletop. Now, their 40-minute battle reports they have special effects on them, they have really cool lighting, they have amazing scenery, they have really cool models, they talk to the players throughout the game, and it's a really, really cool thing. 40k in 40 minutes. Even the longer form battle reports, things like Striking Scorpion, he does his, a lot of them are, he edits his stuff, but not that much, he edits some of it, but not loads of it. Absolutely amazing content when compared to this. What are you getting out of this? Okay, now, I know that is an unfair comparison. Why? Because this is live at an event, and things are moving pretty quickly, okay? I get that. And when you're doing 40k in 40 minutes or another battle report, you're in a controlled environment, in your own studio, get that too. The thing is, a company the size of Games Workshop could and should find workarounds to bring you right into the action in a better way than this, in my opinion. I know 40k, alright, and I know Age of Sigmar. I'm decent at it. I found this very hard to follow. A few mates of mine One of them played AdMech when they first came out in this, in 9th edition, not 10th, in 9th, and they were literally indecipherable. That's how hard they were to play. And he played them completely fine, really knows the game at the back of his hand. He could not tell me what was going on. He was like, that guy's winning because the score's at the top, but I'm not really sure what's going on, right? The commentators were speaking very quickly. They were very nervous. They weren't really sure of some of the rules. They weren't really sure of how people were getting points sometimes. And this may be an endemic of the game itself, but for me, this coverage ain't it. And I'm almost reluctant to say this, because it seems pretty harsh. Again, they're in a live event. What more do you want, right? They're in a live event. There's lots of things going on. I understand that. But for a company the size of Games Workshop, I want better fidelity of the cameras. This should be in 4K. Sorry, it should be. They should go and get actual TV cameras. Not a phone. This is a phone. This is a phone camera. My camera's got a better phone, and my phone has a better camera than this. Okay? I don't know what camera they were using. This should be an actual TV 4K camera. Go buy one. Lease one. Dude, you're working with Amazon. Borrow one. Borrow 4. And have the 4 main tables be absolutely really cool. Have the 4 main tables that are going to be shown on live stream off to the side in their own studio place, right? In their own little studio with nice lighting and everything like that. And have the cameras really deep down into the action, really showing the fidelity of the models and what's going on. Have the people commentating really know the game and have it be slow enough for people to actually get what's going on. Who's scoring what. Have one of those things that you have on Sky Sports and ESPN, when the analysts are like drawing across the screen. But they were doing it on this with MS Paint, and so you could hardly see what was going on. They were talking about things that weren't really relevant. Have actual effects on the screen showing where the fire's coming from, who's firing into what and when. Have somebody there managing those special effects. That's all he does. Okay? All he does. He makes sure to listen to what's going on in the game, because both players are mic'd up to him. And say this Wave Serpent on the left-hand side, or the Falcon on the left-hand side there, is firing at, say, the Demon Prince. He will draw that line so you know what's going on. Right now, right? At 4K, you know what's going on. I applaud the attempt of having something like a professional experience, but for me, this was hard to follow. Okay? Very, very, very hard to follow, and it kind of took it out of it for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I think there are better ways to do this. Much better ways. That map in the top right, I like it, but at the same time, when I was noticing a lot of the time when I was watching this over the weekend, a lot of the things on that map were behind schedule, so you'd see things, you'd look at the map and then look at the actual board and it'd be completely different. There were loads of ways that they could have done this in a lot better than what they did. Again, I understand, absolutely, in a controlled environment, it's much easier. But guys, your Games Workshop, make it a controlled environment. Simple. Take 5 tables and put them somewhere else in the same venue, but put them in a studio environment that's nice and quiet, with actual commentators, with actual 4K cameras, special effects, the lot, and have that be the thing, right? I'm going to take a quick sip of tea here. That's what I would do from now on, if I were you. Because this didn't really... It took away from the excitement of what you were trying to do, right? This is all constructive. None of this is just moaning. It's all constructive, right? This is what I would do. When I said embrace, if you're going to go down the tournament sphere, embrace it, right? See that? There you go. There's the MS Paint thing. What does that mean, right? I think that was an aura effect, okay? But it just didn't hit for me. It just didn't hit, and I don't want to hear anybody say, well, they're doing their best, dude. Stop moaning. No. This is Games Workshop. They're the market leaders. This is supposed to be best in class, and it isn't. It isn't. Alright? I've seen Northern Knights. I'm not just giving them praise because they're called Northern Knights. I've seen Northern Knights do better live battle reports than this. And they're live in somebody's fucking garage. And I've seen better. I shouldn't have seen better. I should be looking at this going, yeah, best in class, this is amazing, right? It's not even clear. If you look away for a couple of minutes, it's not even clear who's rolling what and when. You know? Again, they're trying. But this is kind of amateur hour. It isn't good enough. Not for me. Not if you're the market leader. It ain't good enough. This is the level that we play at when we're playing Cyberpunk 2087. I'm expecting Critical Role. That's where we should be. Beautifully painted models, by the way, but you know, that just goes to show where we are, okay? So, yeah, we had the brackets and all that. Congratulations to, I think it was Richard Siegler who won the entire thing, so congrats to him and his AdMech. But in terms of the actual content itself, wasn't great. Didn't think it was fantastic. Also, what was with, like, they kept showing the same adverts over and over and over again. Your Games Workshop, okay? Make more adverts. Go and commission somebody to make more ads to be on the screen. We all like listening to 40k stuff, right? You know? One really cool thing to do here, if you've got like half an hour free, just throw up one of the episodes of something that's on Warhammer Plus to entice people into the subscription service. You know? Maybe do a special. Fly out some of the guys from one of the Warhammer Plus shows and have them do a live show right there. This should have been an E3 level event for wargaming, where guys from Games Workshop sit down and they have panels with each other. They talk about upcoming games, upcoming models, things that they're going to look forward to with 11th edition, some changes that might be made, right? They should be analysing the lore, analysing the armies and paint jobs. This should be a celebratory weekend. So when you're not streaming the games, you should be streaming other things live from the event. This could have been an E3 level event. Instead, even when the winner was announced, when Richard won, they had both players kind of do an interview sitting down awkwardly at a table, and then that was it. They just ended the stream. Thanks for watching, guys. Right, bye. And that was it. There was no trophy lift. There was no celebration. There was nothing like that. Games Workshop are continually run rings around by their community. Okay, Rogue Hobbies did a really good video where she went. I think her name is Suggs. Yeah, she went to an event for Age of Sigmar, and she told the story of that event of the tournament, and it was a brilliant 20-minute video. And I was pumped. I was like, wow, I want to go to a tournament. This seems really cool. And you really got the sense of what it was to be there, you know. And again, I know it's curated. She's edited the video. Yes, I know. But she's not Games Workshop. She used to work for them, but she's not Games Workshop. She doesn't have the might of Games Workshop behind her. Games Workshop does. They could give you content where they walk around the hall, they're doing all of these interviews, you're getting a real sense for how cool it is to be at such an event like this, to make sure that they always have numbers there. This was minimum effort. The entire weekend, minimum effort. Even the reveals, minimum effort. Absolute minimum. And it kind of said to me, you got no respect for the people actually watching at home. You know, like, I'll be honest, it did strike me as you're lucky to get this, and that sucks because you have the resources. You have the resources. You do. You know, I was really, really, really disappointed, but I still enjoyed it. You know, that's how much we love the hobby, right? I still enjoyed it. But I did look at it and go, wow, amateur hour, this could be so much better. There are nerds everywhere who would do this for you for free. If you just gave them a shout out and some free models, they would set you up with an amazing service in terms of how your stream looks, your intermissions, your transitions from scene to scene. They do all that for you for some free models. And you know, if you flew them out for free, gave them their hotels, and then just gave them free models and didn't even pay them, they'd do it. I'd do it. It's just minimum effort, and there's no excuse. Not for me. What do you think? Think I'm being a bit of a bugbear here? Let me know in the comment section down below. I think Games Workshop should do better content. You know, especially on the live streams for me. We're way past the time when you would do a full battle report on your phone camera. We're way past that. When you got people like Tabletop Tactics and Play on Tabletop and Mini War Gaming and guys like that, even Little Wars, right? All of these people who are doing battle reports on really awesome cameras and really awesome studio environments, even live, that are much better than this. You need to look at yourselves in the mirror, in my opinion. But, you know, market leaders, act like it. Love you a long time. Speak to you very, very soon. Have a good one. Bye now.